Friday, June 18th. Maybe in the split, I know the date. Okay, well, first thing we have to talk about is time. So if you were in the live channeling last night, we talked about time at some point. I can't remember when, but I woke up this morning with this one, circling in my brain. So I'm going to start with that today. So if you guys are on TikTok, you should follow me there, by the way, right? Okay. So on TikTok, I have a series of little videos called The Split, where I just kind of break down for people what the split is and all that kind of stuff. And I get tons of questions on those videos. And one of the comments recently was that we were talking about the split being the date of June 21st, and someone was like, but time doesn't exist. Not true. Time does exist, but linear time is an agreement. And so what came through last night, which my brain is still kind of like with, is events are anchor points in timelines, but linear time is a construct. So time itself is very flexible and fluid and can be manipulated and adjust itself according to the energy we're putting at it. But things do happen at specific times, and certain events at certain times are significant, which is why we are all like here right now at this time. Otherwise, why would we incarnate to be here on earth at this time with all of these things coming online at the same time? It wouldn't make any sense if time doesn't exist. Time does exist. Linear time itself is a construct, and we could rabbit hole in that one because it's connected to the aging process and all of these different things. But basically what was coming through, I'm guessing in dreams last night after channeling, is very simple, something we all know. Time is cyclical. It's cyclical. It goes in a cycle. Cycles don't have to ever end. If you think about it, think about trees. Think about the flora, the fauna, the biome, basically the natural and organic systems of the earth that cycle through different phases every year, right? We are part of that. But by pulling ourselves out of it and thinking that we are not in it and instead existing outside of it, we've created for ourselves an interesting pocket of linear time within which the reality is much different than the cyclical organic reality that everything else is living by. Because if you notice, we love to put expiration dates on everything, but trees, a lot of trees have a specific lifespan, and none of those lifespans correspond with our lifespans, right? An animal has a specific lifespan, an insect has a lifespan, but our understanding of something seems to end the moment we can't physically see it, right? So just kind of let that bop around in your brain a little bit as we roll into solstice, because more and more the messages that are coming through are all about us taking ownership of our collective understanding of whatever it is. And not just taking things at face value. I can't tell you how many times I can tell you who I have this conversation with, but I have this conversation quite a lot where I say something and this person says to me, well, but this is the way it is. This is something you can't dispute. It's scientific fact. And it just makes me want to because not everything has to remain static and scientific fact. In fact, the science of science itself is to continually learn and update the understanding, right? So if you're going to continually learn and update an understanding, you have to be willing to let go of previous understandings, because otherwise you can't upgrade yourself to new understanding. So all of that to say, good morning, happy Friday, and time is cyclical, not linear. But again, there's always a but, always a but. If you want time to be linear, then it will be, right? So, drink some coffee. Hey, Ron. However, let's talk about the split. Don't forget, on Monday, we are doing a summer solstice activation at 8:30 in the morning. I don't know, I'm gonna do some channeling on that day too, so we'll see what comes through. But right now, like, here's what you need to know moving into the energy of the split. And if you are not familiar with that, let me break it down super simple. It is literally an energetic shift, and it is all about collective agreements and what agreement you are feeling aligned with at this time. Some people are in alignment with third dimensional agreements right now, some with fifth dimensional. Those of us who are feeling fifth dimensional agreements are going to be living in fifth dimensional space. Those who are not are going to be in third dimensional space. We all live here on Earth. Nobody's leaving. It doesn't make one better than the other. It's simply different phases. So the whole point of the split is to create containers for when the third dimensional group, collective, wakes up, which they're going to be doing very soon. So we are just kind of moving ahead to create an environment to welcome them in. No one is getting left behind. That's not a thing. Don't believe in spiritual hierarchy, because that's bullshit, okay? So moving into the split, it's been really rough with relationships, all relationships. It's been really hard to have people that you have been so close to suddenly not make any sense to you. You don't make sense to them. You just kind of drift apart. It's been extra hard during this Mercury retrograde, where it seems like communication is just completely impossible, save for like a very select few people. And usually it's because you are so tight with those people that you've already discussed probably this whole retrograde effect, and you already know when you speak that there's a possibility for being misunderstood and vice versa. So it creates a safe container to just be and not feel so anxious. And quite honestly, that's where we're on our way to. All of our relationships should feel that way. All of our relationships should feel that safe, that we feel that we can say something and trust that if the other person didn't quite understand it, they can just take a hot second and say, wait, I didn't quite understand that. What exactly did you mean? And no, it doesn't have to be a personal attack on them, and it's not a personal attack on you. Those are the relationships you want to put your energy into. And the other ones that feel very much at this point like they're just taking energy out of you and giving nothing back in return, you don't need those right now. Now is not the time to give your energy away to support somebody else's delayed healing. I'm going to say that again. Now is not the time to give your energy away to support somebody else's delayed healing, procrastination, avoidance. When you give your energy away to somebody who is not in the space where they want to acknowledge any of the places that they need to do work on themselves, you are preventing them from getting their work done. You're being a crutch. And that is a codependent relationship, and it can be very toxic. So watch for those things. It's really easy to get wrapped up in them. It's really easy to feel like self-sacrifice and being uncomfortable, and giving is a virtue because we've been taught that it is in a very deep way. So pulling out of that program is hard, right? What does it mean to be of service but put yourself first? Does that feel contradictory to you? To say, I am of service, but I am most important to me. Can you say that without kind of being like, Can you? Because if you can't, you need to start practicing. Because if you don't take care of yourself and put your energetic needs first, you are not helping. You are just allowing people to continue to use your energy to not do their own work. People have to feel uncomfortable sometimes in order to spur them to some sort of action, right? We know that complacency, being comfortable in uncomfortable situations, it's a real thing. So pull your energy in. We're here. Monday is the 21st. I'm fairly certain of that. It's here. We have made it through the first half of this epic year. You are incredible. The amazing movements and upgrades and growth that you have integrated in seemingly, like, I don't know, it blows my mind to watch it. And it's so amazing to have the vantage point that I do have, to have the privilege to work with you guys one-on-one over months and months and months and months and see your rapid growth, your rapid integration, how you understand things about yourself in a way that frees you from feeling guilty or shamed or any of those things that have held you back. Moving blocks out of the way, stepping out and saying, this is who I am. You're doing this every single day. I see you doing it. You're amazing. So here we are, midpoint. Everything's different from here on out. Can you honor the growth that you yourself have made happen? Can you say, yeah, I'm really freaking amazing. I can't believe I did it. You did, do it. You should celebrate yourself. Solstice for you should be a celebration because you made it here. And now on this other side, allow yourself to utilize the growth that you've worked so hard for. Allow yourself to choose the paths that feel aligned with who you are now and leave behind all of the heavy things that have been keeping you from being your full self. All of the worries about what this person will say or that person thinks, or my mother, my father, my aunt, my uncle, my job, whatever. That is no longer relevant. Do you trust yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that what you bring to the table is of value? Because if you can't recommend yourself, you can't expect others to recommend you. If you can't treat yourself with reverence and respect, you're not showing other people how to treat you, right? So instead of wandering around, wondering if one day you're going to get validated, stop. Validate yourself. You've done amazing, 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 amazing. Okay? So with that being said, a lot of you are starting new businesses. Like a lot. There's a reason for this because, well, many reasons for this, but number one, we have all realized over the past year and a half that we are capable of doing things that we didn't realize we were capable of, right? We have learned, a lot of us have discovered, maybe I should say, that how we spend our time in the course of a day matters. That the life we're living is right now. And you may be feeling ideas, inspiration, you have things coming through and you're like, how is this going to turn into something? Or maybe it's already turning into something and you've started your business. And I don't know, I just feel like so many of you are starting businesses right now. So here's what I want to tell you about your business, okay? As somebody who starts businesses all the time. You are your product. I don't care what your business is. It doesn't matter. It's rather irrelevant. People will choose you because of you. So that is why if you are starting a business in the spiritual sector, doing energy healing, intuitive readings, or whatever is coming through and feeling good for you right now, I want to remind you that you are in no competition with anybody else. These are containers that are not proprietary. Nobody owns energy healing. Nobody owns using your intuition to help guide people and support people. All you have is you. And when you bring you to whatever service you are offering to people, that is what they're going to come back for. You are the magic in anything that you do. Even if your job that you are bringing forth is something completely non-spiritual, or seemingly, I should say that, seemingly non-spiritual to you, you are bringing your magic to that. So just remember it. You are not in competition with anybody because nobody's you. Nobody is you. And I remind myself of this all the time because from what I do, there are definitely times when I'm like, and or somebody comes at me and is like, it feels like you're doing what I'm doing. No, friends, like you can't do what I do because you're not me, and I can't do what you do because I'm not you. We have to remember that. When we can really integrate that understanding into the fabric of our being, we can stop being such little assholes at each other and thinking that there's a lack mentality everywhere and we have to grab. You have to trust that your energy, yourself, and your commitment and pride and joy and what it is you're doing and bringing forth in the world is going to attract the people who are going to come to you and want to be part of that. You have to trust it. And if you're wasting your energy looking at what everybody else is doing, that means you're not sitting there and receiving information on what you should be doing. So stay in your zone and throw love at everybody else. Help where you can. Don't clutch on anything. Nothing is original, and that's something we have to start understanding, okay? Collective intuition, the cloud that we are all deriving our information from, that's all up there. We all have access to all the information. But some of us came here to do very specific things. We're going to pull down very specific information. I pull down very specific information. You can pull down the same. The way that I translate it through my body, my voice, my mannerisms, and whatever kind of containers I specifically create may be very different from yours. In fact, of course, it's going to be different because you're not me and I'm not you. We are all pulling down so much of the same information right now. And that should be a confirmation to you, not an affront. It should not make you feel insecure or grabby. It should make you feel happy because it means we're all surfing the same wavelength. And it's exciting to see how that's translated through different perceptions and filters and energies. We should celebrate this instead of feeling like someone's stealing from us. Does that make sense? Because moving into New Earth society, there's really no room for that lack mentality, and especially the fighting amongst women. What are we fighting for? Whose attention are we trying to grab? This is an old patriarchal program that is so deeply embedded in us, we don't even know we're doing it. But let's not do it anymore because it's really damaging to us. So moving into this split energy, moving into next week, just be aware of it. Be aware of the moments where you feel like, ooh, that's making me feel insecure. Maybe it's time to have a conversation about it instead of just talking shit about it and being mad, right? Maybe it's time to open up these pathways of communication between each other, especially those of us who are in a very similar industry, right? And say, what is it? What is it that's triggering you? What's triggering me? Where are we coming from with this? How can we support each other? And are we afraid to fully support each other? Because in the back of our minds, there's that little voice that says, if I fully endorse this other person who's doing something kind of similar to me, I'm going to lose all of my clients. If you believe that, that's going to be your truth. And it is true then, right? But if you can fully pull yourself out of that mindset, you free yourself and you free everybody else from that horrible, rusty, stupid old cage. So think about it because it's really important. Moving into this new energy, we don't take any of that crap with us. And it's okay. It takes a while to pull out programs that have been in our DNA for centuries. So don't feel bad if the feelings come up. When the feelings come up, let's talk about them. Let's be transparent about them. Let's really address them so that they're not in the shadows. Because when we speak words to these things, we shine a light and nothing can be hidden anymore. There's no secrets. There's no intrigue. It's not even that interesting, right? It's like, oh, more patriarchy dust. Let's sweep that out of here, right? I hope that makes sense. I didn't know that was what we were going to talk about this morning, but that's what we're talking about. So without further ado, it's time for your sensory card pulls. If you've never done them with me before, I'm going to give you 3 things. You pick one, or if you, some of you like to pick 2, facts are facts. Pick 1 or 2, whatever resonates most with you, don't overthink it, and I will pull a card and give you a message, okay? I don't know which deck I'm using for which, so we'll see. Today we're going to do fuzzy creatures. Okay, I know that's not like necessarily I feel sensory to me, but we're gonna do cute fuzzy creatures. So the first one is a little kitten. The second one is, okay, this is specific. Are you ready? So the first one's a kitten. The second one is a hound puppy. like the kind of hound puppies with the long ears and like so many wrinkles on their neck. Do you know what I'm saying? And like even wrinkles over their little paws. So hound puppy. And then the third one is a horse, a grown-up horse, okay? Kitten, wrinkly hound puppy, horse. Which one are you feeling today? Comment, and I will start shuffling. I've got puppy, I've got horse, kitten, hound puppy. Cindy's also a puppy kitty. Lisa says I love kittens, but I'm feeling horse today. Oh man, I'm cracking myself up this morning. Okay. All right, so the first one is kitten. And let's see what we got. We're doing the Avalon deck for you guys. All right. You're gonna get 2 cards actually, hold on. That makes sense as to why I have both of these decks here. All right, kitten people. Claudia. Claudia always gets winter solstice. I can't. All right, let me get serious here. All right, kitten people, this is you. You have the goblin and you have winter solstice. The goblin and winter solstice. Let me tell you your story. So here's the thing. This retrograde has probably been a little bit difficult. But here's what's being triggered for you. This is, I'm gonna say it's ego. But when I say the word ego, just remember way back in the day when I explained to you that ego is something that we've kept separate from ourselves, but we need to bring it back inside. It can be a very healthy form of self-identity. It does not have to be something that we constantly battle and fight. In this context, ego is you being triggered by something. Something is triggering like a long-standing belief that you've had about yourself or a long-standing doubt that you've had about yourself. This retrograde has hit that like boom right on the forehead, and you're kind of reeling from it. And it may feel like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. And the answer is absolutely nothing. You're supposed to sit down and take it. I don't mean that in a mean way, but sit down and allow the information to actually integrate into your system, because you're getting a lot of information from this bop in the forehead. The time for movement and action is coming, but you need to integrate this lesson. You need to understand what was being illuminated for you, and you can only do that if you get quiet and sit with it. You don't need to editorialize it. You don't need to make it bigger than it is. You don't need to make bullet point lists about it. You just need to feel your feelings. And those are probably the ones you've been running from. So whatever has happened this retrograde that has been very triggery for you and has kind of just hit you in a way that you're just like, I don't know about that one, sit with it. Clarity is coming very, very soon. Okay, that's kitten people. Well, let's see. Our next one is the puppy with the wrinkles, hound puppy. Everybody's getting 2 cards, don't worry. Hound puppy. This is like quite honestly around the time of the year when my puppy ovaries start going and I really want a puppy, but I know that I don't want a puppy, but I really want a puppy. All right. Let's see. Kitty people, did that resonate with you? You're remarkably quiet. Okay. Puppy people, you have got the Grail Knight and full moon. Grail Knight, full moon. Doop. Doop. Okay. Here's the story. Okay. Have you been on a quest? Let's talk about the Holy Grail. Let's talk about knights in shining armor and quests and all of those things. So many times we feel like there's something bigger than us that we are seeking and that we need to go after. That is the proverbial Holy Grail, right? When you think about the Grail Knights and them going out on this journey, did any of them even know what they were going to look for? Not necessarily. But the story is always found on the way to the Grail. And that is your message right now. Your life is happening now, not in the future. Your energy is here now. So create, enjoy, luxuriate, pay attention to what your life is like right now, instead of casting a line into the future and hoping that you hit some mark that opens up some new pathway for you. This is where you hit your mark. This is where you open up new pathways and timelines. And you know this, but this is just a reminder that what you are seeking is already within you. So you needn't go outside of yourself. It's right here. You have it already. The full moon card is all about the ending of a cycle, okay? And we're hitting a full moon next week. The ending of a cycle is huge, but it's also exciting, and it happens every month. So just remember, whatever has ended or is about to end for you, nothing ends without something else beginning. It can never happen that way. It's the natural order of things. So the energy moves constantly. So as something ends, another immediately begins. So just remember that. If you're letting go, there's a reason. You won't let the new thing start unless you let the old thing go. And that old thing go that you the thing you might need to let go might be that quest for something outside of yourself, and learning to be satisfied and have fun with this right here. Okay? So that is the hound puppy. And last but not least, we have the horse. Let's see what that's about. And yes, Claudia, your message has been very clear. Indeed. I half think that if I used a different deck for you that doesn't even have winter solstice, it would create a winter solstice card for you. All right. Let's see what we got here for the horse people. All right. So horse people, well, look who it is. It's winter solstice again. And you also have the wind fairy. So horse people, I'm guessing that a lot of you horse people have some air signs in you, especially Gemini. But this card is really, really tapping into Gemini energy. And we are about to close out Gemini energy for this season and move into Cancer, which is going to be very different. This card is really, 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 really stressing to you that your thoughts, the way that your mind works, the predominant energy of the workings of your beautiful mind creates feelings coupled with your thoughts create. So please be aware of where your thoughts are going. What percentage of your thoughts are spent in cyclical things, in negative self-talk, in doubting yourself, all of those different things. And just kind of like catch yourself, right? It's like, ooh, don't do that so much, because you're creating. If you're not creating consciously, you're creating unconsciously, okay? Winter solstice is here again with the same message that has been here like literally all season long, which is it's inward time. Now is not the time for action. The action is coming very soon, but it's not right now. So just hold tight. Whatever it is, hold tight. Feel into yourself. What are the messages coming through for you? Okay? And just take some deep breaths. What can you do this weekend to calm your nervous system, to calm your adrenals? What can you give yourself this weekend to just cool it down just a little bit, okay? Because your brain is a fast one. Very smart, very twisty-turny, very easy for your brain to completely create scenarios that don't necessarily serve you, because you just get lost in the things. So remember, you can slow down, take some time this weekend to take some deep breaths and just give yourself some restorative care, whatever that means for you. After next week, you guys, shit's moving faster. So we've been in a period of retrograde, and all next week it's still retrograde. So just remember that. Shadow of retrograde is a real thing, and often we think, oh, 22nd is here, retrograde's done, let's sign all the contracts. And it's just, nothing is like that. I've been saying that to you guys, but like nothing in the natural world just ends like that, black and white. There's always a taper off or a ramp up, taper off, ramp up. So just remember, we'll taper off next week. It'll get easier, but it's still going to be a little bit murky. But as soon as we hit July, holy moly, off to the races we go. So take this weekend, restore, okay? Those are your sensory card pulls, my friends. I love you lots. I'll be back here on Monday. Monday morning, 8:30 is the summer solstice activation and channeling. So I hope you can join for that. I also have several guests next week coming through, which I'm very excited about. We're telling coming out stories next week. I have so many cool people coming, and we also have Amanda King coming through to talk about human design on Thursday. So lots and lots of cool things. And don't forget, Inner Sanctum / Restoration members, our moon call is Thursday. And as I usually am right about, being late on things, but the app is not going to be ready on Monday because Mercury retrograde. What was I thinking? But it's almost done. It's coming. And so we will be having that call as we normally do. If you are not part of Restoration / Inner Sanctum, you'd like to join, you can do that for free. You can still do that. Go on my website. It's there. I love you. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. If this has been helpful for you, the most amazing thing that you guys can do for me to help me with my business is share my shit. Seriously, like a post, comment on a post. Engagement helps my post be seen on Instagram and Facebook. So anything you can do in that area, it's free for you, and it makes huge difference for me. So thank you so much. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow.